Today we're looking at a response to my Devil May Cry review. This isn't the first time I made a video about someone reacting to my content, and it's probably not going to be the last. If you know, you know. For some of you, this guy might not need an introduction, with it being Zero, who makes Devil May Cry content. Some of you know him, some of you might not, I don't really know. But Zero claims that I have made the worst review on the Devil May Cry anime ever. Which is subjective, I mean, to each his own. It's only natural because this is the internet. And to be honest, I don't really care what anybody says. But this is very interesting and it seems like a lot of fun, so let's get on with it.
It's currently 3:48 a.m. and I can't sleep, so I thought it would be more fun to react to what people are calling the worst review of the Devil May Cry anime ever, instead of just stare at the ceiling in bed trying to sleep. So I'm not the first one to react to this video. I was actually put onto this by another YouTuber named Splinter. He makes DMC videos. You should go check out his channel. Pretty good stuff. He made a reaction video to this already, and he sent me this video, and I took a look at it and watched the first few minutes, and I decided that I'm gonna go through this and kind of make a response to this video as well, because this is just a spectacle. I'm aware that I'm putting this video in a pretty negative light, so because of that, I'm not actually going to be, saying who the video was by. I'm not going to be saying the name of the video or anything like that. I just don't want there to be a flood of people going over to this guy's channel and criticizing him. He doesn't deserve that. I just want to use this as an opportunity to, have some fun, give you guys some entertainment, and talk about some really cool lore and interesting information and facts about the series.
Well, I very much appreciate you for not letting any of the hate goblins try and flock to my channel, but honestly, I mean, I don't care if they do or they don't. Honestly, I'm all for people criticizing my content. It's the only way to get better. I'm not gonna sit here and be a goddamn snowflake and be upset over someone hating my content. No! Really though, you had the right intentions, but I feel like you definitely should have mentioned my channel and the video, because a lot of people are going to be missing the context of the entire review based off of the small clips you picked out here. But jokes aside, let's continue.
So if you do end up finding this video or coming across it, please don't harass this dude. I just feel like this video is just really misinformed, and I just wanted to use this as an opportunity to have some fun, and correct some things.
My video is misinformed? What the fuck?
Also, before I start this video, I want to let you guys know that on June 28th at 6 p.m., I'm doing my first charity live stream in collaboration with a nonprofit called Heads Up Guys to raise some money and awareness for men's mental health in celebration for Men's Mental Health Awareness Month this June.
Okay, a Devil May Cry charity stream. I might actually watch that if I'm not slaving making content, but we'll see what happens. People don't really give much attention to mental health, so this is very much appreciated.
I'm going to be playing through the entire game as only V and attempting to beat the Bloody Palace.
I, honest to God, fucking hate V. His gameplay sucks ass.
So if you want to come by, get some clips of me being very displeased to have to play V, then come and join us on June 28th at 6 p.m. It's going to be live on this channel. It's going to be a lot of fun and for an amazing cause. All right, so let's do this.
For starters, I just got to talk about how this series is nothing like Devil May Cry at all. Who is this made for? I really couldn't tell you, because as a Devil May Cry fan, there is nothing here that I could enjoy.
Fight scenes and the soundtrack are pretty good. I made my own review about the Devil May Cry Netflix series that you should definitely go watch. In that, I criticized basically everything except for the fight scenes and the music. The music is very well done, except for a really bad Bury the Light cover that I don't know why they just didn't use the normal version of Bury the Light. Besides some really janky 3D animation in them, basically all of the fight scenes are really good and well choreographed, great ideas and concepts behind them, and they take place in really great locations. The fight scenes and the soundtrack can definitely be praised, but I don't know about anything else.
I guess maybe it could put new people onto the games?
It did. The player counts on all of the Devil May Cry games spiked up drastically after the anime came out.
But the only reason anyone is actually watching it is because it's Devil May Cry. So that doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but I digress. Really, who's going to watch a Devil May Cry anime except for Devil May Cry fans?
As poorly written as it is, the anime was a huge financial success and put a lot of new people onto the games. The DMC anime was promoted pretty heavily from Netflix, and for a while was the first thing that everybody saw when they opened Netflix, because it was right up on the top in the center of the homepage.
This is a point that I see a lot of people bringing up when it comes to what I said in the video. Yes, it got more people into the games, but the point I'm trying to make is that this show is nothing like the Devil May Cry games. So if people like the show and then they come into the video games expecting what they liked in the show to be present in the games, this is going to ruin their expectations and the potential audience that can be gained. Yes, they did gain an audience, but are they going to stay and play the games even though they're not like the show that they enjoyed? The show is an advertisement for the games, but if they're nothing alike, then all this does is alienate the fan base and could potentially destroy an audience that can be gained. when instead we could have had the best of both worlds by getting an anime adaptation that is accurate to the games that the fans would like, and newcomers would actually get a solid depiction of the game series that they're going to get into, which not only makes everybody happy, but it doesn't destroy the identity of what Devil May Cry is, because this can also lead to a situation where they want to make games more like the show because it gave them money. But regardless of the fact, people are just going to get into anything because it's new or trending. So would I praise the Devil May Cry anime for getting people into Devil May Cry? Fuck no! Because it's just going to happen regardless. Which is why I said, I guess it would get people into the games. For starters, I just gotta talk about how this series is nothing like Devil May Cry at all. Who is this made for? I really couldn't tell you, because as a Devil May Cry fan, there is nothing here that I could enjoy. I guess maybe it could put new people onto the games?
The show factually did introduce at least a few 100,000 people to Devil May Cry.
I don't know what I'm looking at right here, because you said the anime put 100,000 people onto the games.
The show factually did introduce at least a few 100,000 people to Devil May Cry.
When the graph says 88,894 is the all-time peak for Devil May Cry 5, 6.1 years ago. So that 100,000 statement is definitely not true. And as we can see for the month of April, it went up by 7,000. So it gained 7,000 people playing the games on Devil May Cry 5. I don't think that number is anything to boast about, but hey, at least people are getting into the games. But then again, there are people that are buying this on console and not on Steam, but I don't know where this 100,000 is coming from, because when you're looking at the actual graph, it's only going up by 7,500. The writing is actually very annoying, cringe, and it is very reminiscent of the Devil May Cry games that Devil May Cry fans hate. DMC Devil May Cry.
What? The DMC anime's writing is reminiscent of the reboot?
You know what's kind of funny? How my video is being criticized for mentioning that there is a comparison between DMC Devil May Cry and the Devil May Cry anime, yet the very video that you said was good and recommended for everyone to watch did the exact same thing.
Who have a lot of things in common, even though the reboot does everything the show does, but better. But that's for another video.
In the very video you recommended, he literally said exactly what I did. Granted, he didn't go over it because he said he was going to make another video to explain his opinion on that, but it's really funny. It makes me wonder if you even watched his video all the way through, like you probably didn't watch mine. Because if you did, you would have probably got to the part where I mentioned the similarities between DMC Devil May Cry and the anime in their juvenile sense of writing, with the anime coming off cringe as hell, while DMC Devil May Cry being, you know, maybe a little bit more bearable.
How? It's edgy like the reboot is? Is that what he's insinuating?
Despite me saying Devil May Cry so many times, this series actually takes itself very seriously.
What? The game where the main character gets a cowboy hat and starts dancing around like Michael Jackson after millions of people are killed. The game series where the main character gets a new weapon and shoots it at a wall while making sex jokes for 5 minutes straight. The game series where the main character shoots his guns infinitely because he never needs to reload because his superpowers let him make bullets inside of the gun. It takes itself seriously.
You know what? This point he brought up about the games not taking themselves seriously kind of blew my goddamn mind for a bit, because, you know, this is the game that covers themes such as humanity, family, and controlling your inner demons. Yes, Dante dances like Michael Jackson. Yes, there are funny moments that happen with Dante. You're not going to really see many other characters do this shit. But to be 1000% honest, this isn't the entire atmosphere of the series. The entire series is not jokey, because there are plenty of nice, fun moments that are lighthearted to break the pace when you're seeing shit like this. Or let's take into consideration the game's atmosphere and how demonic, edgy, and fucking terrifying it is. Devil May Cry is a pretty serious game, it just happens to have a not so serious main character. Like in Devil May Cry 4, we have a whole religious cult that is being fooled into thinking that they're turning into angels and finding God when they're actually selling their souls to a demon the entire time. あんたも
これこそが選ばれし者だけがたどり着ける境地、人を大きく超越した存在への進化、天使の力だ。
違うクレド、それじゃただの悪魔だ。
Or in Devil May Cry 3, how you have a psychotic father who's going as far as to killing his own goddamn wife so that he can fulfill his own satisfaction of becoming a god. I don't know why, but a lot of people really don't notice how edgy this game series actually is. I mean, for fuck's sake, all you need to do is just listen to any of the OSTs in this game, and it's some of the most ominous shit you could ever hear. Or if you pay any kind of attention to the details, you see how terrifying a lot of these levels look. I'd definitely say that this series takes itself seriously because it always leaves you with some kind of message after you play each game, while these characters develop themselves and begin to understand their own humanity and demonic powers. I don't understand what is not so serious about a game with a plot where the main character is damn near killing his twin brother who obsesses over strength so that he doesn't have to experience the same pain he felt when his mother died because he wasn't strong enough to protect her. But you know what? I'll give it to you. It was funny as hell when Nero got his arm chopped off.
The name of the series literally is a pun of the phrase devil may care, because the main character has a devil may care attitude and doesn't take anything he does seriously.
I don't know what the fuck this devil may care shit is, I'm gonna be completely honest. And this show does the exact opposite. There's nothing to take serious from this. It's kind of brain dead, and it tries to sell you a lot on nice action moments.
Dude, the footage that he's speaking over is contradicting himself. He's saying that the games take themselves very seriously and that the anime, in contrary to it, has crazy slapstick action that doesn't take itself seriously at all. Look, while talking over this clip, he actually sat down and edited all this together.
But a fight alone is not going to be enough of a good reason for me to watch an entire 8 episodes, let alone 20. Okay, this is kind of crazy because I did not contradict myself at all, because I never said that the action and fight scenes were slapstick and over the top. I said the show itself is very unserious and it just sells you on action moments to keep your attention. There's nothing to take serious from this. It's kind of brain dead, and it tries to sell you a lot on nice action moments, which, I mean, can be entertaining if there's a fight on a screen.
Crazy slapstick action that doesn't take itself seriously at all. Look, while talking over this clip, he actually sat down and edited all this together.
Bro, you're really nitpicking the clip that I had in the video? Are you kidding me? And you know what? That's fair. I nitpicked the anime a lot in my review, but this is kind of ridiculous, man. For starters, okay, let's talk about this clip in the background. In this clip, this man Nero is dead ass trying to kill Dante and is punching his face damn near into nothing, forcing him to go into Devil Trigger. So this was actually a really tense situation, pushing Dante to his limits, because Nero was actually threatening. It gives you the impression that Nero can kill Dante, which is pretty tense, versus whatever the fuck we got out of the anime. And on top of this,
the footage that he's speaking over is contradicting himself. He's saying that the games take themselves very seriously and that the anime, in contrary to it, has crazy slapstick action that doesn't take itself seriously at all. Look, while talking over this clip, he actually sat down and edited all this together.
My guy, this is just video filler to keep someone's attention so they have something to look at while I talk and give my opinion. You're thinking a little too hard about the clips I'm using. If all I cared about was fights, I would take my dumb ass over to TikTok and watch aura farming clips.
Well, I mean, he watched the whole anime anyway, and aura farming clips, what does it have to do with fighting? That joke doesn't make any sense.
The aura farming joke was there because if you were looking at a lot of the Devil May Cry anime TikToks, which is one of the things that made me want to make a review, because I saw people overhyping the hell out of the show, and they were like, Dante has aura! And then they showed a stupid ass fight scene of Dante beating down on everyone.
Clips. What does it have to do with fighting? That joke doesn't make any sense. If he wanted to watch fighting, then he would go to TikTok and not watch fighting?
You're interpreting a lot of what I'm saying wrong, because the aura farming bit was me saying if all I cared about was the fights, then I would just go on TikTok and watch the fights in the cancerous clips that these guys post on TikTok, because I don't have to sit through the entire show to watch a quick fight. First, I gotta talk about the Devil May Cry games. So in this show, we have Lady, or as some of you neckbeards want to call her real name, Mary.
I've never heard anyone call her that.
Thank God for you didn't, because I've seen fucking neckbeards all over the internet talk about, oh, by the way, her name isn't Lady. It's actually Mary. And they said that. No, I'm not gonna sit here and dig for evidence of comments about this shit. But yes, these fedora wearing, hot dog water guzzling, bowling ball built motherfuckers were saying shit like this.
He makes some points about ladies cursing and how the script is horrible and how the characterization sucks, and he's correct. These are points that have been talked to death. So I'm just gonna skip over them.
The only thing here that captures what Devil May Cry is are a bunch of little references that no one is going to fucking understand, because we're gonna have, let's put this character from the Devil May Cry manga and put him in there, and then maybe, just maybe, that one guy who dedicated his life to the series will see and understand it. I noticed.
Alright, so this guy doesn't know what the definition of an Easter egg is, but we're just gonna disregard that for now. They took a character from the Devil May Cry series that doesn't appear in the games, only in the comic books, and made him an important character in the show. I'd say it's better than creating a new character. If they created a new character, then you would just say that they're not using the source material and just injecting their own stuff into the series. There's nothing wrong with taking characters that were already in the series that were less known about and trying to give them a more important role to make them more popular. Marvel does this all the time. They take the most obscure characters ever and make them important mainstream characters. They just made a movie about the Thunderbolts. Who the fuck knows what the Thunderbolts is? Most people do not. But this is just how it works. Sometimes series take characters that are less known about and try to breathe some life into them and give them some more development.
I think we definitely have different ideas on what an Easter egg is, because when I think of an Easter egg, I think of something more subtle, like Cole McGrath having the Sly Cooper logo on his book bag, or maybe even the Crash Wumpa Fruit showing up in an Uncharted game. I don't really think it counts as an Easter egg, especially since the White Rabbit is the main villain of the entire plot. White Rabbit showing up is definitely a nod to the Devil May Cry manga, but I feel like it's way more than an Easter egg because he encompasses the entire plot. Things like Agni and Rudra.
Agni and Rudra.
Well, this is definitely not the first time anyone has tried to pick at my goddamn pronunciation of a word. That one boss from Devil May Cry 4.
From Devil May Cry 4. Agni and Rudra from Devil May Cry 4 on this show. Dude, that's crazy. I didn't even realize.
Agni and Rudra from Devil May Cry 4. Alright, let's look at the complete way that I phrased this. I know you made this video at 3 a.m., but you should have took a coffee or something, because you 1000% misheard me. I said Agni and Rudra, that one boss from Devil May Cry 4. And it's crazy because I'm saying that one, and there's two of Agni and Rudra. So I'm definitely not talking about Agni and Rudra here. And then the knight from Devil May Cry 5. I'm listing the demons off right now. And then the knight from Devil May Cry 5 being in the show.
The knight? I don't know why I find that so funny. One of the greatest bosses in the whole series has just been reduced to the knight. He doesn't even get a name drop. That's great.
Yeah, I definitely don't know his name. I mean, cool design, but when I played the game, when it released, he didn't leave that much of an impression. He was kind of just there. He was cool. One of the greatest. I don't know about that one, buddy. It was cool seeing them.
He doesn't mention the others, even though they're all on screen, which leads me to believe that he hasn't played all of these games.
So you think I haven't played any of these games? You know, that's pretty crazy to think. What kind of dumbass do you take me for to sit here and make a video on Devil May Cry if I didn't play the games? That just sets myself up for fucking failure. I mentioned pretty much all of them except for the one that I don't know. Well, I listed off Agni and Rudra. That one grass-looking bitch from Devil May Cry 4, and yes, the knight from Devil May Cry 5, because I'm not going to sit here and remember all these bosses' names. Because, for one, I play a lot of video games, and I watch a lot of anime. I'm not going to sit here and remember a fucking boss who I'm just going to beat the fuck down whenever I play Devil May Cry. And the second point I'm going to make here is that they don't show any of the names of these bosses when you fucking fight them. Do you know why I don't know the names of any of these bosses? Because I'm not going to sit here and Google shit about Devil May Cry, because I played the damn games. But I can't say the same for superfans who just need to remember and know every single name of a fucking boss. The only one I actually don't know is Plasma, because honestly, you know, I played all these games except for 2, and, you know, realizing he's in the first game, I did own Devil May Cry 3. That was my first Devil May Cry game because my dad had me play it. And then Devil May Cry 1, I mean, playing that as a kid, do you expect a fucking kid to beat that game? You gotta be out your goddamn mind. And because I didn't recognize Plasma, I assumed he was from 2. I made some progress on Devil May Cry 1, but I'm just not gonna play Devil May Cry 2 because why would I put myself through that? It's just a fucking terrible video game.
Agni and Rudra from Devil May Cry 4 and The Knight are the only 2 mentioned, even though they're all on screen here.
But what's wild here is how much you're taking me out of context. I literally say in the video which games I played, and if I don't recognize a character, I mean, I played enough games to feel confident enough to upload a YouTube video about this shit, so I'm just going off my personal experience of playing the games here. I beat 3, 4, 5, and even the reboot despite all the hate it was getting way back when it dropped. I played all these games by the time they came out. So I'm definitely not going to remember boss names because it has been years. Despite that, me and my entire family played Devil May Cry together. That just is one thing that got me into it. I had 1 and 3 on PS2. Didn't beat 1 because, I mean, that shit's ridiculous. And as a kid, I'm sitting here playing Devil May Cry 3 and then going back to play Devil May Cry 1 right after. Do you really expect a kid to have the motivation to play a downgrade like that? And honestly, Hideaki Tsuno is the guy that really gave Devil May Cry everything that it has now, so I was not in a rush to finally beat the first game, especially when he's not involved because I fell in love with the series from the 3rd game. Had the HD collection, I mean, played a little bit more of 1 to try and make up for my goddamn childhood, which is true because, honestly, you can go and look at my PSN profile. I'll show the trophies that I have for the game on the screen right now in case you want to think I'm lying. But new games are coming out. Am I really going to go back and continue to spend more time on my PlayStation 3 when the PlayStation 4 is still kind of fresh? Especially when games like Uncharted 4, Dark Souls 3, and Doom 2016 were out at the time. I'm gonna definitely get around to finishing Devil May Cry 1 sometime. We'll see what happens. But I definitely played more than my fair share of these games. Until I noticed how bad the fucking CGI was.
Yeah, it looks awful.
Especially when all I did was play the games. I'm not going out of my way to just sit here and read a fucking manga for tertiary information.
Then that's your fault for not knowing who he is. What? They use an obscure character. Not everybody knows who he is. That's fine. But in a way, it's your fault for not knowing who he is. And that's okay. You can learn who he is from the show. Just don't get mad at the show for including characters in it that are from parts of the series that you know that you haven't seen.
The best character here was honestly Enzo.
Okay, what the fuck? Alright, well... Wow, I mean, everyone is entitled to their opinion.
He showed up in Bayonetta. If you played that, that's a cool reference, but I mean...
Sorry, I feel like I'm pausing this so often. So, would he be mad at the show for including Enzo in it, an obscure character, if he hadn't played Bayonetta? If he hadn't played Bayonetta before this that had Enzo in it, then would he be mad at the show for including an obscure character that he doesn't know? I guess we'll never know.
Well, actually, White Rabbit is not from the Devil May Cry show. He's technically from the Devil May Cry 3 Dante's Awakening manga, so this is a mistake on your part. Only a true Devil May Cry fan would know this.
At least that's what a fucking elitist would sound like. You know, I'm just really saying a lot of the references that I do and don't know, and I'm not hating on any of the references at all. I'm just saying that references aren't going to make a show good. I even say that it's cool how there are references that I do and don't know that you just didn't add in this video, which I directly state that references aren't gonna make the show better or worse. It's cool that they're in there, but it's not going to be a reason for anyone to want to look at this shit. I literally say it's cool that there are references that even I don't understand, although I played the games. What I'm saying is that fan service is not going to make a show better for me. References, cool. References that even I, someone who's played the games, might not get. This anime does not feel like it came from a guy that's played all the games. It felt like it was made by a guy who just went on YouTube and watched a fucking Devil May Cry iceberg or lore video, then started making a show. Or watching all of the damn cutscenes. But there's just so much wrong here. Why do Agni and Rudra...
Bro, this show, it's like it's made by somebody who's just watched the cutscenes of the game or watched YouTube videos and never even played the game, dude.
Yes, it definitely does feel like someone who only looked at fucking iceberg and lore videos made this because there are a bunch of all these dumbass references and nothing to really show for, especially because we all know deep down this shit is really just nothing like Devil May Cry. I don't know why anyone is defending this. It's beyond me.
The part when Agni and Rudra from Devil May Cry 4 showed up.
Yes, I definitely said Agni and Rudra were from Devil May Cry 4. You know, they were the one boss that Nero command grabbed. I think right around the end of the game, you're taking this Agni and Rudra shit and running a field day with it. So I watched the show in English. It is made by Americans, so I'm going to watch it in fucking English.
No, you're gonna watch it in English because you speak English. What does this mean?
Well, I am an anime review channel. I don't know how well versed in anime you are, but this means that I'm going to watch a Japanese show made by Japanese people. And I'm telling people about how I'm reviewing it because I could watch this anime, the Devil May Cry anime in Japanese. But this time around, I'm letting the viewers know that this anime is made by Americans, so I'm watching it in English. After all, Devil May Cry is a Japanese game franchise. So the English in this show was actually really good. The voice act...
The English in my American show was good. Yeah, in my American show, the English was very good. Very good grammar, very good pronunciation.
It was actually pretty damn good. And that's what happens when Americans make an American anime.
What is he talking about? What the fuck?
Yeah, for once, the English in this American show was actually good because if you watch anime, you would know 9 times out of 10, the English voice acting is dog shit. What I'm talking about is most people that watch anime, which in most cases are made by Japanese people, when they hand it off to the American audience, the voice actors ruin the show and completely make everything that the show was trying to do become lost in translation. We're just gonna go through some synopsises.
Synopsis.
I see we got a pronunciation Nazi over here. Yes, it can be annoying when someone mispronounces a word or just says a word's plural form completely wrong. Is it worth criticizing? No. So the first episode has the rabbit character show up and then he starts finally making all of his plans fall a little bit into motion.
Finally, that's the first thing that happens upon opening the show. That's the very first. Finally, the first thing that ever happened in the show is the White Rabbit starts his plan. And the first scene of the show, the White Rabbit finally does his plan. Oh my.
And of course, we finally get to see Dante do a bit of demon hunting. And to be fair,
what do you mean finally? This is the first 60 seconds of the show. This is the first 60 seconds and it finally happened.
Yeah, finally, because in the context of the video, we finally got to talking about the fucking anime and I was segueing into talking about this character. Because your video doesn't showcase this, I spent a good 10, maybe 15 minutes not talking about the actual anime. But yes, I did say starts finally. I could have deleted one of those, but this is a whole hour-long video. There's gonna be mistakes. This is one of the few times he uses his iconic weapons, Ebony and Ivory.
Oh my god.
Also, that's not Ebony and Ivory. That's just some normal guns, dude.
Yep, here we go. The iconic gun bit that everyone keeps mentioning. I had a screenshot where one of the guns looked black while I was editing the video because I like to darken the pictures so I don't get copyright struck. And by the time I noticed that these guns were not Ebony and Ivory, I mean, the video was already uploaded. Fuck it. Right after he kills this demon, this is where the show honestly goes downhill. It tells you everything you need to know about the direction that they're taking.
Dude, this show is terrible. 60 seconds into the first episode, Dante takes out the first 2 demons, and then the story starts.
Oh yeah, because I definitely said the show is terrible. Oh yeah, definitely love the misinterpretations of everything that I'm saying. Guess I gotta explain myself again. Literally, what I'm saying is you get an idea early on in the show on what kind of direction they're taking the writing. Then I show an example. I don't really think that was me saying the show was terrible. Even though I definitely do think the show is terrible without a doubt. I was saying it gives you an idea on what they're doing and what you can expect. Because if you watch American anime, they do a lot of things like this in the writing. For instance, this happens at the very beginning, so this would be an introduction hook. And of course, they choose humor this time around, and the very fact that this joke is cringe, the show already introduces itself and lets us know what we can expect from the rest of it. Because after all, that is what an introduction is supposed to do. We could even go deeper with this because first impressions matter the most in life, but I'm not going to explain this common sense to anyone.
Pretend I just shot that guy. Bang! Man, Skeletor did not hold up since the 80s.
Skeletor did not hold up since the fucking 80s. What in the Marvel movie is this shit?
He edits out the part where right after that Dante admits that it was a cringy, corny line and that he usually can come up with something better. It's written like that on purpose to show that Dante is new to demon hunting, and because of that doesn't have the really funny jokes and one-liners off the top of his head like he does later in his career. But he edits that part out because it wouldn't line up with his point.
Yeah, this is pretty good headcanon to try and make an excuse for the shitty writing in this show. Just like how you made up me saying Agni and Rudra were in Devil May Cry 4, but the jokes don't get any better. And the excuse of Dante being new to demon hunting as to why he is making cringe-ass lines, no, this is not some interesting character development that Shankar might just give us that you're hoping for. This is actually Shankar just making fun of Devil May Cry because Dante says, I quote, usually I say a killer one-liner.
The way this usually goes is I do that, then drop a killer one-liner. But I'm drawing a complete blank right now.
This line is cringe, not because of Dante's current character. This is cringe because Adi Shankar is cringe and doesn't respect Devil May Cry at all. He's clearly just making fun of it. Let's turn the tables here.
Really funny jokes and one-liners off the top of his head like he does later in his career, but he edits that part out because it wouldn't line up with his point.
If you would have shown more of that Dante clip of the joke, he literally would have said usually he thinks of it, and that just refutes your whole entire point. So now, did you edit that part out? Because if we would have continued to see that Dante said he usually thinks of one-liners, then it wouldn't have lined up with the point that you were making. Because if your statement about this being a younger and inexperienced Dante was true, then Dante would not be self-aware that what he said is not a good joke. Which is the complete opposite of his character because he, like he says, usually has a killer one-liner. Speaking of editing points out, you did a lot of this in your video criticizing my video. Especially the part when you say I don't play the games, where I literally tell everyone watching the games that I played. You made sure to keep that part out of your video though. Tia from Devil May Cry 2, did not really play that one. I owned 1 and 3 on the PlayStation 2 and played 4 and 5. Yeah, don't know much about Devil May Cry 2. I recognize her though, so that's another reference. Either that, or maybe you just didn't watch the video. I get it, it's 3 a.m., it's an hour-long video. You might just want to click through it and just call it a day. That is very annoying in this show, is the excessive use of the Jackpot line.
It's said 4 times across 8 episodes.
It kills any kind of weight in character that saying had. So definitely get used to that. I know I didn't, but
they said it 4 times in 8 episodes. If each episode is 30 minutes times 8 episodes, that's 240 divided by 60. That's 4 hours. So they said it 4 times across 4 hours. So I guess if you don't want to hear Jackpot once an hour, then this isn't the show for you.
4 times in 8 episodes is kind of a lot. I'm not gonna hold you. That is a fucking Jackpot line for the entire half of the season. If that doesn't seem like it's gonna get tiring to you or anyone else, then I guess it might just be one of your favorite phrases in life. And you're right, it definitely isn't the show for me, because it's fucking trash. And there were some points where I picked apart the plot and pointed out obvious plot holes and inconsistencies, but who knows if you even watched the video all the way through to see that. I really kind of felt like I was watching an episode of the Boondocks, and not in a good way. Especially with this cowboy politician character showing up in the series.
He's the president of the United States.
And now you're telling me there's demons crawling up out of hell?
Play into stereotypes and tropes, because that's how Americans write their shows.
American man has Southern American accent. The show's trash. Over stereotypical.
Yet another mischaracterization of what the hell I'm saying. I'm just pointing out that this character is a stereotype, and for me, it's pretty annoying to see, because rather than making a believable depiction of the American president, these guys are so fucking dense and lack creativity that they have to just make the American president an American stereotype. What was funny about this at all? And no shit, he's the American president, because guess what? He has a cowboy hat and a southern accent. So that's exactly why he's the American president. My guy, if this is not a stereotype to you, I don't know what is. When everyone pictures the stereotype of an American, it's a barbecue grilling, gun toting, beer sipping fat man. I mean, I can just Google American stereotypes, and guess what? These stereotypes look just like the guy in the anime that we're talking about. Can it get any worse? We have soldiers wearing cowboy hats, and they're raising the American flag in hell. And do you know why the Americans win? Because they have guns and nukes. Why the fuck are you defending a stereotype? Oh yeah, the show is definitely trash. We're not gonna dismiss that fact. The stereotypes are also definitely very played out and annoying. Because when we make shows like this, we gotta show these Americans that it's by Americans, made for Americans. And if you like that, I'm gonna tip my hat like Arthur Morgan right to you. Dante getting a milkshake, and it goes south, so another demon tries to kill him. And this is another demon from Devil May Cry 2.
Jesus Christ. Dude. No.
I kind of had a feeling because I could not recognize it. Well, yeah, this is definitely a mistake. I don't go all over the Devil May Cry wiki page or Google shit for Devil May Cry. Like I said, I just play the games. So me confusing Plasma being in 2 because I never recognized him because I played a little bit of 1, and it just turns out that I guess Plasma is on mission fucking 16. So I just didn't play far enough to see him, but I definitely did play all the games. Beat all of them. Just did not beat 1 and 2.
What do you mean you had a feeling? People say that when they're confirmed to be correct about something. If he were to try to confirm if he was correct about Plasma being from Devil May Cry 2 by Googling it or something, then he would be proven wrong. So what does he mean that he had a feeling?
Yeah, I said I had a feeling because I was letting everyone know I didn't know the character. Because I played 1, beat 3, 4, 5 in the remake. But while the demon is fighting Dante while he's trying to get his milkshake, it takes the form of Vergil. I just think it's funny because it just seems like we can't go a Devil May Cry game or Devil May Cry anything without seeing Vergil.
Local man gets mad because Vergil appears in his Devil May Cry game.
Oh no, I know Zero did not like this one. He has a Vergil profile picture, and I mentioned Vergil being in too many games. Ah shit. I'm not mad. I love Vergil, but he is definitely overused. I love Vergil as much as the next guy. He definitely makes this series a part of what it is. But after a while, how many times are we gonna keep getting this character milked?
He was in 2 games. He was in Devil May Cry 3, and then he came back in Devil May Cry 5. I don't really count the reboot as being a part of the mainline series. And I guess you could count Nello Angelo as being Vergil, but what the fuck is he talking about?
Alright, we're going to actually count every game that Vergil is in or is involved in. He's Nello Angelo. Okay, he's not in Devil May Cry 2. He's in Devil May Cry 3 as the main fucking villain. He's in Devil May Cry 4 as a playable character. His son is the other playable character. In almost the entire plot in Devil May Cry 4, we're getting, guess what? Vergil's sword Yamato. And guess who's the main villain in Devil May Cry 5? Vergil! Guess who's playable? Vergil! Guess who's also the guy that was supposed to be a new character that no one knew shit about, but was Vergil. His name is V. Who would have fucking not guessed that? Also Vergil. Bro, this series has like damn near 5 games out of 6, and yes, we're gonna count the remake. Because guess who's the final boss in that game? Vergil again! Episode 2 finally introduces the lady, and a whole militia gets a mission to hunt down Dante, and of course they make fun of him in a very cringe way.
That's the guy we're supposed to be worried about?
What's he gonna do? Get air die on us?
One thing about this scene here is the amount of shit talk these characters do that really just doesn't hit the landing at all.
A room of the world's most deadly mercenaries are told that their target is a teenager. How could they not laugh? They don't know how powerful Dante is.
You're twisting what I'm saying here again. I'm not saying that they shouldn't laugh at Dante because they think he's a joke. I'm saying that the jokes that these bounty hunters make are fucking cringe. What's he gonna do? Get hair dye on us? What? Do you not hear this musty ass laugh? Are you kidding me?
Dude, get air die on us.
Might low-key be my favorite fight throughout the whole entire anime. And of course, they gotta sprinkle a little bit more of that cringe on top.
I don't feel bad. I heal extremely fast. Like a superhero. Not that I call myself a superhero, but your mom does.
Yeah, I agree. That's a terrible joke and barely makes any sense.
Anyways, demons attack their convoy, and then Dante can't fight because he is handcuffed. And the demons here are from Devil May Cry 2, 3, 4, and 5, so that's a nice reference, I guess.
Wait, so 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so he thinks Plasma is from DMC 2.
So in this part, my brother, there is a boss from Devil May Cry 4 right behind Agni and Rudra. And then, whatever the guy's name is from 5.
He thinks Agni and Ruja are from DMC 4.
I don't think Agni and Rudra are from DMC 4. The DMC 4 boss that I'm talking about is clearly the one from Devil May Cry 4.
So then who does he think is from DMC 3? If he thinks Agni and Ruja are from 4, then he must think that Echidna...
I think you mean Knuckles the Echidna. You tried to hang me for my pronunciation. It is what it is, man.
He's from 3, because earlier he said that Cavalier Angelo is from DMC 5. So has this guy played the game?
Oh yeah, I played the games and I love them. He's riding the bike, and he's taking on Agni and Rudra. Right before he hits them, they say the corniest shit ever.
Damn, he's cool.
I think he's pretty cool.
And then the fucking bomb that this bitch planted inside of him blows up. So yeah, nanomachine, son. Sorry, you're all washed up. So much for fucking regeneration.
He does regenerate it. It's just such a horrible injury. It literally exploded his entire skull and half of his brain. It's such a crazy injury that it just takes him a few hours to recover from it.
Yeah, it definitely does take a long time. That's why I'm saying so much for it. Because, you know, at that moment, it would have helped, but it didn't happen because he got fucked up. So we get another backstory of Dante and Vergil, even though Vergil's hair is up, which doesn't make sense because he didn't slick his hair back until he was older. Oh no, I said something about Vergil. God damn it. Well, I'm getting crucified.
So, you know Virgil's hair is usually slicked back, right? It only fell down because he was in the rain. On all the scenes before this scene, where his hair falls down because of the rain, his hair is up. So, what the fuck?
Well, yeah, I did not pay attention to Vergil's hair enough. Honestly, when I played Devil May Cry 3 on PS2, man, I'm gonna be 1000% honest, I skip a lot of cutscenes. So, another thing is, the very beginning cutscene, I thought, for fucking years, I've always thought that Dante was going up the tower again because he went down it. I don't know. That was just my kid brain. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I've always thought for years that that was just Vergil's defining moment right there. Like, this is the moment where he decided to be indifferent from his twin brother after defeating him.
Like, I'm convinced this guy hasn't played the games. He hasn't played the games. And you know why? He says characters are from games that they're not from so consistently. And he doesn't even use his own gameplay.
Yeah, I'm not going to bother to use my own gameplay on an anime review. That's just a lot of work because I'm already editing so much. So playing the game, getting gameplay that looks interesting, that's just ridiculous, bro. Especially for maybe like 8 seconds of footage. But this is my gameplay in this video, I can assure you that. If anyone wants to doubt my gameplay, we can just take a look at some Dante Must Die gameplay against Vergil.
This guy has not played the games. This was a video that was just made to just, I don't know, capitalize off of the hype of people saying that the show was bad to just get money, I guess. Like, if not, then the video is so bad to the point where it makes me think that that could be a possibility.
Yeah, to get money, especially because I'm not even monetized yet. Not really. That anime just, I wasn't even going to pay attention to it. I was just going to ignore it the entire time, and then it just caught my attention, and as a Devil May Cry fan, I just felt like I should talk about it. And It's different from all these other videos where you have people who actually never played Devil May Cry before and just know the lore off of reading the wiki.
Now, before I get into this, I just want to make one thing abundantly clear. I'm not exactly the best at the games. I've played them, but they're not really my thing. So what I did instead was watch the rest of the games on YouTube. So I have a pretty good grasp on the story, the world building, and the characters. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I'm an expert. I can't name you every event that happens in the franchise or the name of every monster. There's bound to be plenty of people who know more than I do. But I know the basic gist of things. You don't need to play the games to understand video game franchises. You just need to put some fucking work in and do your research.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. It's starting to get really late at night now, so I'm gonna cut it here. I just still can't believe this video exists. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, we're doing the Heads Up Guys Men's Mental Health Awareness charity stream on June 28th at 6 p.m. We'll love to see you there watching. We'd love to see you there in the stream supporting a great cause. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Or reading item descriptions or whatever else. I'm not doing that shit. Never have, never will. And we can't act like a lot of this shit with the lore is being told to us in the games. Like, when you fight bosses, their names don't even show up. So when I'm sitting here being criticized for not knowing a boss's name, that's pretty fucking crazy. But whatever. Honestly, Zero, I do think you should watch my entire video because there are some sections where I do make very valid points about the show's plot, the character assassination of Vergil, the similarities to DMC, and just how the script is ass. And there's a few funny jokes in there, so I think it's a pretty decent video. I had fun making it, and I hope people had fun watching it. I know a lot of them did, so yeah, that's really all it boils down to. Since I don't play Devil May Cry, I'm just gonna show you my profile right quick. Yeah, I beat Dante Must Die on Devil May Cry 3. Maybe we'll get around to the other games in the future, but yeah, I definitely don't play this game. It's not like I made a video on Devil May Cry because I'm a fan of the series or anything. That just sounds crazy. Let me review the anime and not play any of the video games. Oh well, let's get right to it. Let's just do a run of Vergil right quick.
Now loading.
Let's see if I can beat this first try. I do like to skip the cutscenes. Just saying. Alright. Bro, the PlayStation 5's like adaptive triggers are like so annoying on PS2 games. Like, I don't know why it does that, but yep. Let's see. Okay. The microphone is in the way, but fuck it. We're gonna still try and get this first try. Messing up the jump cancels, but that's okay. Now, I'm not going to be a guy who sits here and S ranks the whole game because that's kind of fucking ridiculous. And I would, but that's a lot of time and dedication, and the game throws a lot of shit at you that, I'm not going to lie, I don't want to deal with it. So, yeah, maybe one day. Maybe one day. We can do a stream for that, but yes,
You're kind of shitting on him.
yeah.
Oh my god.
I don't know if I'm going to beat it first try, though. We can get it, but one thing about this fight, always save your devil trigger for when he's in devil trigger or he's just going to get health. This is shit you got to pay attention to. Honestly, play Dante Must Die. Like, for years, I put off doing Dante Must Die when I was a kid because I always thought it was too hard.
Hey, less talking, more play.
Okay, okay.
You wasted so much devil.
Hey, that's okay.
You're gonna get it right back.
I'm fucking up the jump cancels, but it's okay. Not the cleanest. The camera is actually my enemy right now, but well, this is this is
Oh yeah, fun fact: the gameplay in the background was all in Dante Must Die too.
No, that wasn't. That wasn't.
Oh, that was in hard.
Well, ooh, never mind.
I'm pretty sure it was.
No, I'm going to. I haven't recorded that gameplay yet, but That was for the podcast. That was gameplay from the podcast. And yeah, see, that's that when he gets health. This is what you need to save that devil trigger for. And you know, we gotta Royal Guard it because that's the only way to do it. Unless you're a fucking maniac, but honestly, it's really fun in Royal Guard. Fuck Sekiro. Devil May Cry did it before.
We didn't like Royal Guard.
I hated Royal Guard for years. Like I'd be like, you're a coward if you play in Royal Guard. No, now I see why. I'm not gonna lie, you can't do Dante Must Die without that shit. I'm about to get punished. Oh, I'm actually getting my roll.
Hey, look at this squad that doesn't play.
Yeah, I definitely don't play Devil May Cry at all. This is
at all.
first attempt, kinda. Oh shit!
I mean, I kind of feel like that's good enough. Like,
I mean, it's not an easy fight, but you know, we almost had it in the first attempt, but fuck it. Yeah, I don't play these games, just letting y'all know. But yeah, it's fun. Definitely give Dante Must Die a try too. I also don't have all the health upgrades, so that plays a part into it.
you
But
gotta use items or Quicksilver by the way.
honestly, if you play in Dante Must Die, you kind of play the actual game. So
Yeah.
right. So since everyone thinks I don't play the games, all right, Zero, since you have a whole entire career based off of your Devil May Cry YouTube channel, maybe you should give Dante Must Die a shot. Since you don't think I played these games and you think I'm a fraud, let's test things out and see if you're a fraud yourself. In your video, you mainly just mocked a lot of the things I said, you didn't really engage with any of my arguments, and you took me out of context. So let me give you some context here. I played the game through Dante Must Die, as you just saw, and clearly I was not on any bullshit. That was literally just one attempt, so I give you this challenge. How about you do the same thing, do it in Royal Guard, using no items, and don't use Quicksilver like the rest of these pussies. I want to see some skill. Use Royal Guard. You wanted to see gameplay so bad, I gave you gameplay. Now let's see if you can do the same exact thing for me. You like Vergil so much, let's see if you can beat him at his strongest in what is probably the best Devil May Cry game that you don't make content on. So let's see what the fuck you got. Accept my challenge or not, it is what it is, but this is mainly just for fun, and I want to see what you can do since you want to bring up gameplay. I'm just a guy who reviews anime after all, and maybe a video game on a blue moon, but I think you're more than capable of doing this, especially since you're so much of a Devil May Cry enthusiast. In my videos, I always try to be as genuine as possible, because that's just who I am at the end of the day, and just because I don't know bits and pieces of Devil May Cry trivia like the rest of these guys who haven't played the games and actually do just Google shit on Wiki, doesn't make me any less of a fan than you. I played these games since the PlayStation 2, I've been with it through highs and lows, and the last thing I will ever be is a fucking poser. With that being said, that's pretty much all I have to say. Make sure you check out Zero's live stream this June on the 28th for mental health awareness at 6 p.m. Eastern time. He's streaming for a great cause, and his passion for the series should not go unnoticed, so definitely have some fun in there and bring some more awareness to the internal issues that everyone may be going through that no one ever notices. If you love Devil May Cry, go ahead and check out Zero's channel, and if you liked this video, definitely check out my channel where we do a lot of anime reviews, hopefully gaming reviews, because I do a lot of gaming, but will the algorithm let me do that? Who knows?